Hi everyone, this is Kavita for Satare TV. I have attorney Sweta Khandelwal here in our studios today. She has an ongoing immigration law segment on Satare. And some of our viewers have been writing in with questions. So today she'll be answering some of your immigration questions. Hi Sweta, it's nice to have you again on Satare TV.
Hi Kavita, nice to be here too.
Great. So let's get started with our questions. One of our viewers have asked, do I have to continue working with the employer who sponsored my GC after I get the GC, meaning green card?
Right. There is no requirement in law that you have to continue with your employer for a specific period after you get the green card. But the green card really is the employer has sponsored you for a permanent position. So quitting your job as soon as you get the green card kind of defeats that purpose. So down the line when you're applying for naturalization or whatever other immigration relief, you want to kind of not give that impression. So it's a good idea to kind of continue working for a few months, but really there is no requirement that you must work for a certain number of months after you get your green card.
Our next viewer asks, I've attended my H-1B interview recently in February of 2012 and was put on 221G administrative processing. Does the fact that my employer is a staffing company affect my chances of getting a visa?
Even though their H-1B petitions have been approved in the US, they find that they're unable to get a visa at the consulate abroad because the consulate issues what they call a 221G administrative proceeding, and sometimes that tends to be pending for about a year or two and nothing eventually happens out of it and the whole process just is kind of abandoned. So I would say just because your company is a staffing company or your employer is a staffing company does not per se make it more difficult, though it's observed that these issues come more with staffing companies. It's particularly when you have multiple vendors or multiple parties between your employer and the actual end client where the employee is assigned to work. So I would kind of summarize this by saying that as long as your paperwork is complete and your employer is able to document that it has a genuine assignment for you and is able to respond to all the questions or documents in the 221G request, you should be fine. So just being a staffing company per se does not add on to your troubles.
And for our viewers at home, they might not know what a 221G administrative processing is. What is that?
So that's essentially, it's the section of the law. 221G is that section of the law, so that's why it's referred to as 221G. But it kind of means that, you know, they want additional information about your petition and they'll approve your visa conditional to you responding to that request.
Thank you, Sweta. Sweta, our next viewer writes in, my spouse has an H-1 visa stamped and is in India right now. Her company has applied for an L-1B regular visa, which is taking a long time. Can she travel to the U.S. on an H-4 visa and live in the U.S.? Once her L-1B is approved, can she do a change of status from an H-4 to an L-1 and work? I know a lot of people have that issue with needing to work.
She can come to a U.S. on an H-4 once the L-1B is approved. File for a change of status from H-4 to L-1 and then resume work on L-1.
Okay, and how long should that take about?
It kind of depends upon the processing center and the current processing times, but usually about 2 to 3 months.
Not bad. Okay. The next question is also an L-1 question, Sweta. I'm currently working on an L-1 visa and have filed a petition for an H-1 visa. How long can I officially work on my L-1?
So it actually depends on how the L-1 petition has been filed, whether it's been filed as a change of status or it's been filed as a new H. If it's been filed as a change of status, then you can continue working until your L is approved. Sometimes it's filed as an overseas case, which means that the person has, after the H gets approved, the person has to leave the US, go to a consulate abroad, get the visa, and then come back and start working on H.
Thank you, Sweta. I think you answered a lot of the questions that our viewers have. And we'll come back next week again with another segment of Sweta Khandelwal's Immigration Tips with more questions and more answers. See you next time.